Hello guys! So today is finally the time for me to make this video talking about my experience having a natural delivery with my daughter. Now, when I say delivery, you're probably thinking pizza. But actually, I'm not talking about food here. I'm talking about having babies. So to deliver a baby means to have the baby, for the baby to come out onto the world. So this is to deliver a baby, to give birth, to deliver a baby, okay? It's the same thing, kind of. So today I decided to make this video because it's my daughter's birthday this month, actually this week. And she's going to be 3 years old, so she's turning 3. This is how you talk about I don't know why. This is how you talk about age. She's turning 3. And I thought it would be a very nice opportunity for me to talk about this experience. A lot of people ask me about this on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should follow me on Instagram. But yeah, because I have mentioned this on Instagram, and at the time some people said to me, you really should make a video about that because it would be a fantastic listening practice. Yes, it would, for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's a very interesting story, in my opinion. Number 2, it's vocabulary that you are probably not used to. And it doesn't matter if you're a man. Don't be like, I don't care about giving birth, I'm a man. Because seriously, if you're learning a language, you need to know about lots of different things so that you can understand conversations, so that you can understand a movie. Otherwise, if you don't talk about it, you're not going to know, and then I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do to help you. So, I'm going to talk about giving birth today. So I have 2 kids, right? My son is 4 and my daughter is going to be 3 this week. And I really wanted, it was a personal desire, I really wanted to have a natural delivery with both, okay? So with my son, I had a normal delivery. There's a difference between normal and natural. And so, actually I went to the doctor, I have to just say this because what the hell? I went to the doctor about 6 months ago, about 6 months ago, to a new doctor, and she asked me, so you have 2 kids, how were your deliveries? And I said, well, the first one was a normal delivery and the second one was a natural delivery. And she was like, it's the same thing. The doctor said this to me. My friend, it's not the same thing. Don't tell me that I had a baby with absolutely no medication at all, no interventions, no medication, nothing, that it's exactly the same as getting anesthetics, because it's not the same thing. Come on now. So, my first child, I'm not talking about this because it's more of a normal kind of story, but I had a normal delivery, okay, and it was fine. Now, I was not happy about this, guys, because you know me now. Right? If you've been here a while, you know me. I am very determined with things. When I want something, I'm going to make sure that that happens because I'm going to work really hard for that to happen. So because I couldn't have a natural delivery with my son, simply because I was in too much pain and I was too scared. It got to a point after 12 hours with my son, my first, that I actually thought I was going to die. So I said to my doctor, and I don't remember this, but she told me that I said to her, has anybody ever died from this? Am I going to be the first? Because I actually thought I was dying. So after 12 hours, it was just too much for me. And then I had an epidural, the injection on your back. So I had an epidural, and then he was born after 1 hour, which was amazing. It was a really amazing experience, but it wasn't how I wanted, because I wanted to have a natural birth. I wanted to have a child with no medication, no drugs, nothing, because that was my thing, because I think being a woman is amazing, and I think our bodies are just fantastic, and I really wanted to put my body to the test. I really wanted to see just how far I could go as a woman, and I thought, you know, that was something really special to me. Anyway, I was happy about this, but not very happy, because it wasn't the way I wanted it to be. So then I got pregnant again with my daughter. And this time I said to my husband, this time things are going to be different. And he was like, okay, I'm listening. And I said, because this time I'm going to accept the pain, accept the contractions. Very similar in Portuguese if you're Brazilian. Contractions. Oh my God. Accept the contractions, because I think that what happened during Dominic's labor is the process where your body is kind of getting ready for the baby to come out. So those hours that you spend, you know, normally having contractions and in pain and all these things, this is labor. So during that time I was in labor with Dominic, I became too scared, and the fear kind of made my body close down. So instead of it opening up and allowing for the baby to come out, it kind of didn't, because I was too scared. And I really truly believed it was in my mind, because I had a really healthy, good, no problems, really healthy pregnancy, and because my labor was really healthy, like no, you know, like unforeseen, this is such a new word, isn't it? I'm gonna teach you. No unforeseen events happened. Unforeseen is something that you don't see coming, that you don't prepare for, you know. I had no unforeseen events during my labor. It was a really great labor and pregnancy. So for that reason, I really believed that I didn't have a natural delivery, because it was all here. I was too scared when it came to it. So with my daughter, I was like, I know what to expect. And I know that I can do this, because I pushed one baby out of here. So I'm sure I can do it again, this time with no drugs. Because if I handled 12 hours with no drugs, I'm sure I can handle a little bit longer and have my baby naturally. So I was, during the whole pregnancy with my daughter, I was really just thinking about this and really just saying to myself, Patricia, it's all here. You have to handle the experience differently. Handle, it's like, you know, the way you see something, the way you respond to something. You have to handle the whole thing differently. You have to accept it and you have to love it. Every time you get a contraction, you have to be like, yes, thank you, contraction. It was so hard. But yeah, the time came for my daughter to be born, and my contractions started. I was at home. It was actually on the dot. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the dot, 4 o'clock a.m. Sorry, I just said it all wrong. I don't know why I'm doing this. It was 4 a.m. when my contractions started, on the dot, literally 3:59 a.m. And my contractions started. I said to my husband, contractions started. So I went to the toilet and I stayed there alone for a bit, timing my contractions on my phone. Time. It's like, okay, it came again. Time. All right, 30 seconds. One more, time. You know, so I was timing my contractions alone for 5 minutes. No, for half an hour. And then I came out. He's like, are you all right? And I said, yes, my contractions are coming every 5 minutes. They are 5 minutes apart. This is a great word. 5 minutes apart already. He's like, what? Already? What? I said, yeah, it's kind of happening. So I said, call your parents. They need to come and get Dominic, because he's like, no, you just started. Relax. I'm like, no. They are coming, like really coming. It's strong. So I think they need to come get Dominic, my son, because I don't know what's going to happen. I just want him to be gone so that I don't have to worry about him, because obviously Dominic was going to go sleep at my in-laws' house. in-law is in-laws, in this case, mother and father-in-law, my husband's parents. And then I went to have a shower, which is great when you want to get your labor going and you want it to be really active and you want your baby to finally be born, okay? So childbirth is very unpredictable, guys, okay? Childbirth is very unpredictable. This video is not to convince you, woman, that you should have a natural birth. No, this is your body, it's your decision. I'm just telling you about my experience and I'm teaching you some words, that's it. I'm giving you a great, realistic listening practice. And then, guys, I went into the shower with the lights off, no lights. It's very good to get your body going, you know. And so I was in the dark, alone in the shower, and really getting contractions regularly. And I knew, because it was my second, I knew they were strong. I knew something was happening. And at one point, I remember, this is after about an hour and a half since the contractions started, I remember that I sat down, like in the shower, I sat down and I was just like, whoa, like, this is really happening, isn't it? Like, this is really happening. And I remember physically just being really happy about these contractions this time. And I was like, yes, it's a contraction. Yeah, so every time the contraction hit, I was like, okay, like, yay, this is so good. No, just doing this, I'm remembering how it really was. So I was embracing it. I was welcoming the contractions and the experience. Came out of the shower, I couldn't even get dressed. I put a t-shirt on and I went to bed, and I was kind of sitting, but not really sitting on the bed, hugging a pillow like this and kind of humming, like, humming, this is humming. Kind of singing but no words, when my husband came and he made a video, like a 30-second video, and I didn't see it. I only saw it after Naomi was born, because it was me during a contraction, the whole contraction, which was about 45 seconds long. So this video is about 45 seconds long, actually. And he filmed me because I was, with my eyes closed, I was humming and smiling throughout the whole contraction. So it was like, it was really pleasant, but it wasn't. It was really painful. But it was like, wow, this is so good. It wasn't good. But I really believed that I had to change the way I saw the contractions. And after that, he said to me, we're going to hospital right now. And I said, no, we're not, because it's only been like, what, 3 hours? No, it's only been 2.5 hours since the contraction started. There was no way. I'm probably, what, like 3 or 4 maximum centimeters dilated. You have to be 10 centimeters dilated. I'm probably 4 maximum, you know. He's like, we're going right now. And he dried my hair. It was winter, so it was cold here in Porto Alegre. So he dried my hair and he got me in the car. He's like, we're going now, because I didn't want to go. I really thought I had hours ahead of me because of my first experience. In the car, things picked up. It's like things got much harder and much more intense. At one point, my husband was driving really fast to get us to hospital, and I said, fuck! Because he turned really quickly, and the movement of the car turning made it hurt so badly. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to swear at you. I mean, this really hurts now. And then we got to hospital, and I couldn't walk. And then I was gone, really. I couldn't stand up. Physically could not stand. I'm a very small person, so I had a massive bump, and my contractions were really hitting. So I was unable to get up. So they put me on a wheelchair and they wheeled me all the way to the ward, to the place where you're having babies. And I remember I got there and I couldn't get up. I couldn't get off the chair because I had this extremely long contraction. It must have lasted, I'm not joking, it must have lasted about 1.5 minutes, which is very long for a contraction. And I was silent. I was just like, like during the contraction. When I finished, I opened my eyes, and the nurse, the person that works at the hospital looking after people, she was staring at me, and she said, wow, you looked so beautiful during that contraction. How lovely is that though? So then I had another one without any, I just listened to her, and then another one came, and it was literally, they were 10 seconds apart, which is crazy. And then my doctor came, she checked on me, I was 8 centimeters dilated already. And to cut a very long story short, Naomi was born precisely 28 minutes after we got to hospital. So if I hadn't gotten in the car when my husband said, let's get in the car right now, she probably would have been born either at home or in the car. So yeah, I went from 8 centimeters to 10 centimeters in 10 minutes whilst in hospital. And so much so that Eduardo, my husband, was downstairs kind of checking me in, filling out the forms and everything. And then when I got to, my doctor checked me, I was 8, and then I went onto the ball, you know, the Pilates ball, and I was just like, ooh, 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 on the ball. And then I started making funny noises, like this kind of noise, like pushing noises. And she said, girl, you're pushing. I said, I'm not pushing. She said, you're pushing. So then she checked again, and I was 10 centimeters, and she said to the nurse, go get the dad. Like, this child is gonna be born. Go get him. So Eduardo came running up the stairs. He's like, oh my God, this is not possible. Because with Dominic, we arrived at the hospital at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he was born at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, so he was expecting like a long hospital time. So he got there, and I was just kind of ducking. Ducking is like, you're not sitting, you're not standing, you're not sitting, you're like ducking. You know, like when you go up and down, you don't sit, but you're like ducking. I was ducking on the bed because I thought that was a very comfortable position to have a baby. Gravity, guys, gravity. And I'm not joking, I pushed 3 times and Naomi came out. It was just amazing. Pushed is like, push. This is a great way for you to remember the difference between push and pull. Because if you're Brazilian like me, it's so hard to remember the difference between push and pull. So this is a great way. Push is like push and pull, okay? So I pushed, I'm not joking, I pushed 3 times precisely, and she came out. And that was it. So Naomi was born through a 100% natural delivery. I had no drugs at all, nothing. No cuts. No drugs, nothing. Like, she could have been born at home with just me and Eduardo, because there was no intervention from my doctor at all. She didn't cry when she was born. She came out and she was totally peaceful. Like, she didn't cry. And she was totally healthy when she was born. Me too, 100% healthy, no problems. And after she came out, she was born, Eduardo went somewhere with her, with the nurse and stuff, and I started, after the placenta came out, they took me to this recovery room to recover, and I had this crazy crying fit where I just started crying, like a lot, and I couldn't stop crying. Like, I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried. I was so happy. I never felt that happy before. It was the happiest moment of my life, because to me it was more than just having another baby, because I had a baby, so I was super happy about my son. I'm not talking about this happiness, I'm talking about accomplishment happiness. Like, I felt 100% accomplished. After that, I was like, girls, we are powerful, let me tell you. We can push a baby out with no drugs and actually be happy about it, because my delivery was a dream delivery. She was born in 3.5 hours in total, which is beyond anything that I could ever have imagined for myself. And it was literally the most amazing experience of my life. After like an hour, if people had asked me, would you do it again? I would have been like, yes, 10 times. It was that amazing. I don't want to have more kids, but if I were, to have more kids, I would definitely go for natural delivery again. And I think it probably would be even quicker this time, because in my case, because I had really healthy pregnancies and deliveries, I really think that it was all up here. So yes, there are complications in childbirth. My God, don't get me wrong. Don't leave a comment saying, Patricia, not everything is your decision. Yeah, I know that. But in my case, it was. So yeah, I wanted to share with you this really, really special thing about my life. And if you like this video, remember, click on like, share with your friends, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.